What's up, cleaners? Let's see here. This is a different tonight because, see, here's the thing is, let me fix my green screen. It's not going to be the best this evening. Here's the situation. So you got me tonight. Louis Alfaro got into an accident. Apparently, he hit a van from behind, so he won't be joining us. David Colby has been on vacation. So last week he was able to join in while he was driving. So maybe he'll stop in for a little bit. Who knows? And Mike, is usually late. So maybe he'll stop in. We'll have to see. If he'll grace us with his present. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Tech 7. But that's okay because it's not just going to be us, because we're going to be listening to an interview that I did about a year and a half ago with Frank Bialek of PH7, who is the creator of the PH7. The genius behind it. So we're going to be listening to that interview, and we're going to be talking about the PH7. I was asked a little bit about this, not the PH7, about the Tech 7. I was asked about the Tech 7. Jeez, can't even talk. I was asked about the Tech 7, the magic behind it, and what it's used for. And I got to be truthful, it's something that I use on a daily basis. I use it with every single cleaning. In fact, it's a major part of my arsenal when I'm out there cleaning. So I can't even emphasize enough the power behind it. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be talking about the PH7, and I'm going to tell a little bit about some stories about when I first got it. Originally, it all started off with Simple. Philip Alexander of Simple. He's the one who originally started off. He came out here from Arizona to visit me, bring me a pole and a couple other different things. And he had this other filter that he had given to me to try out for a while. And you might have heard me talk about it before in my other podcast that I used to do with Luis Munoz and that other guy, Jimmy. That other guy who we really don't even mention his name right now because he's a bad individual and is in prison. So, and he's not a good guy. So boo him. But two other things, though. Here's the thing is, once I started messing around with Philip, he introduced me to Frank, and Frank sent me out this amazing piece of equipment that I use all the time, and that's the Tech 7. And we're going to go over how I set it up as well. As you can see, it's not this big whole thing. It's actually just this little, let me unscrew this here. I was using it today, so probably going to get water on me. Okay, I'm going to need a towel. Here we go. I got wires down here. I could cause a fire right here. This is terrible. This is the part I didn't plan. I didn't plan this. Okay, well, here you go. The Tech 7 that we're going to be talking about tonight is this thing right here. Okay, this is the oldest version of it. Although the newest version is actually orange. As you can see right here. Dang it. Get my wire out the way here. This is the newer version that you get. And if you get the Solar 7, you'll actually get these ones right here. But it's the same thing on the inside. The only thing that's different is the color of it on the outside. Otherwise, it's the exact same thing. So see that? Let me flip that around. So basically the way I got it is the way it goes is we'll start with this one. Or I guess we'll just work with this one. Water goes through here and then comes through it and then comes out. And the way this works is it's at the furthest end of your hose. And I'm going to talk a little bit after we watch the interview with Frank. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I hook it up. And how I use it on the job and how I find it to be very effective. There's been questions about, first off, before I even go any further, I use it for solar panel cleaning. There has been questions to use it if you can be used for window cleaning. And I have tried it before, and I think that depends on the water, and I'll get into that as well. I like to use it for when doing soft wash on houses beforehand. I wash the side of the house off and a few other different things, or when I do the after rinse. Because it's very, very helpful, at least when the windows are concerned. Some of them you can't cover, so that in that sense it does help for the drying factor of the windows. And we'll get into that exactly what the magic is. So here it is. We've got this interview with Frank is going to be two parts. We're going to watch the first part, and then we'll talk a little bit I couldn't upload the, whoops, that's so professional. I'll work on a better green screen. Maybe it's just the lighting. I had to upload these videos in 2 separate videos because my streaming service, which I use, StreamYard, wouldn't allow me to go ahead and upload the full interview. So we'll go ahead and watch that and then talk about it. I do have some comments here, so let's see what we got. First off, Will Cartwright. Will, what's going on, big guy? This is going to be a good show. This is a great topic, and there is a mystery behind the Tech 7. And what is it? Okay, that's actually a great question before we get started. This is a magical piece of equipment that can help you with your water filtering. And like I said, we're going to get into this right now. We're going to watch the interview that I did with Frank Bialek, the creator of the Tech 7, explain exactly the magic behind it. So let's get a few things going here before we start watching that. Pop that up. Hold on here, guys. Since I'm the only one doing this, I got to do everything myself. I don't like this. No, just kidding. There's the ticker. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and watch the first half of this interview. Again, this is Frank Bialek. He is the owner, half owner, co-owner of PH7 water filtering systems, but he is the creator and the genius behind the Tech 7. Also the Solar 7, the water filtering system specifically for solar panel cleaners. So let's go ahead and pop this up and let's watch this first half.
I was kind of building my own equipment like a lot of guys do. Just because you can't, everything costs a lot of money, and I mean, I can relate to people in that situation. You got to make a living, you got to support your family. So I was in the same boat. So I built my own equipment. And then what was happening is a lot of other window cleaners or my buddies, they would start seeing what I had and they're like, hey, can you build me one? And then I'm like, yeah, sure, I could do it. And eventually I'm just, I was kind of like, well, I can't keep building all this because I just don't have the time. So then I got a machine shop involved to produce the stuff that needed to be produced. And then I still assemble them. But that's kind of how PH7 started. And it just kind of grew from there. We launched the business back in 2017. In February, me and Caleb got together, made some videos on the PH7. And we were actually blown away with how big a response we got. Just by doing that. We launched it on Facebook, and it's been a learning curve ever since. I mean, I've learned so much in the last 3-4 years just about everything, like about business, about window cleaning, about pure water systems, and just how the industry for building and producing products work. So I jumped on I kind of went into it blindly, not expecting to see, not knowing anything really.
Explain to me about the Tech 7 and what is the magic behind it?
Well, you got to believe it works. No.
Yeah, without giving away any trade secrets, okay? That's, let me rephrase that question. Without giving away any trade secrets, what can you tell us is the science behind this a little bit, if you can?
Oh, I can. Yeah, I'm pretty open source about a lot of my stuff. But yeah, see, like the whole water research, like for decades, not just me, but just everybody researching water, there's always this speculation, right? Because we don't fully understand water itself. Scientists will be trying to figure out water for many decades or even hundreds of years into the future. Basically, what's so interesting about water is like our bodies, when it comes down to the molecular structure, we are 99% water. So if you think about that, we're basically a very complex structured water. Well, you need the science to fully understand it, because like even myself with the whole Tech 7, there's been, like, oh, that doesn't work, that doesn't do this, and I've like 2017, we did a lot of videos. That's kind of when I started developing it and showing people. And then you know, you get that like, oh, water's voodoo. There's no way that works. It's a voodoo pipe. It's magic. There's no way. So I've kind of laid off, you know, because I get it. When people don't understand something, how can it be real? You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's tons of stuff that we use. We don't fully understand it, but it works, right? But
That's correct.
We've either grown up around it, or we've been, you know, exposed to it, so we just know it works. Well, the Tech 7 is kind of like it's new type of technology, so we don't really understand. Well, I think I understand it, I should say. But you know, when people see it, you know, they don't understand it. So when you compare the Tech 7 to like a conventional like DI, RO, a sediment filter, carbon block filter, it's totally different. So then, you know, there's like a wall that's built between people and the Tech 7, like, nah,
Yep.
it's a waste of my time. You know, I'm not even going to mess around with it. So the last few years, I haven't been pushing the Tech 7 a lot. 2017, anybody that showed interest in the Tech 7, I gave them one. Just because of that,
Wow.
you know, reason. Because it's just like, well, I see it works. I see the benefits. You know, everyone's always saying, well, you're building something to sell. You know, yeah, I'm selling a product. But at the same time, the Tech 7 came about more about, like, I enjoy experimenting, I enjoy building, I enjoy that kind of thing. And that's how it came about. I mean, it wasn't really about trying to make money or stuff like that.
It was because of a passion. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, PH7 itself it's been the same reason. I just built my own stuff, and it just kind of blew up into what it is today. But talking about the function of the Tech 7, it has a lot to do with the molecular structure of water, right? So in water, we understand that there's hydrogen, oxygen, and then you can have magnesium, iron, salt. You can have so many different other things dissolved in the water, correct?
Right.
So we all know that. That's, you know, science 101, whatever you want to call it. So now, we're in the window washing world, probably too in the solar panel cleaning industry. You know, we're in this perspective that we have to use perfectly pure water to get spot-free results, right? I'm sure that's
Right.
how you understood things, right?
Exactly.
That makes sense.
And that makes sense because if you have a water drop, which I consider to be a water cluster, and the water evaporates and you got a bunch of minerals in the water, you have a water spot, right? It's a sediment deposit of whatever's in the water. So now you have a water spot. Well, my train of thinking with the Tech 7, and this is what is my train of thinking has changed quite a bit as I've researched the Tech 7. My first initial reason why I was building it was to help RO filters perform better. You know, that was my reasoning initially. But then it blew up, and I just started discovering it does so many other things. And so now my train of thought for like spot-free results is not necessarily removing all the minerals from the water. It's about allowing the water to carry off the minerals from the surface.
Oh, okay. So I was watching it and the video ended. I didn't even know as I was like just going and commenting. That's the first half of the interview. I wasn't ready. See, I'm doing this show all by myself, and look how good of a job I'm doing. So give me a thumbs up for that. If you haven't, in fact, I don't see that. So can somebody give me a like on the video and make me feel a little bit better about myself and what I'm doing? I'd appreciate it. But that is the first half of the interview with Frank Bialek. And I got to say that talking to Frank, it kind of makes you feel like you don't know anything, because the man is a genius. He's super, super smart. He knows a lot about what he's talking about. Not only has he come from a background that has generations of window cleaners, he is a window cleaner himself. So he knows what he's talking about. He's out in the field, but he also has the education for it and the knowledge for what he's doing. He is more than just like myself. I call myself a modifier. I like to alter water-fed brushes and add scrapers and things like that. I call myself a modifier. I wouldn't call myself an inventor or a creator. However, Frank Bialek, PH7, I would call him a creator. The guy is he's very, very smart, and hats off to him. So in the first half of the interview, we learned a lot about, I would say, the genius behind Frank, where he kind of gets his inspiration a little bit from and how it kind of started. The next half of the interview is the meat and potatoes, and where he gets into the magic of the Tech 7. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and watch that.
So,
Beautiful.
okay, when you have regular water, you have a water, my perspective of water is I believe water has structure, and I get kind of beat up on this once in a while, but I try to change my perspective, and I always come back to water has structure. There's some sort of structure involved because it has to do with the positive, negative charge of the ions, of the atoms, and how they're all assembled, right? So when you have regular tap water, you have this structure. And when you have like a hydrophilic surface, like solar panels, it's considered to be a polar surface, which means it has a positive or negative charge, all right? And then if you have a hydrophilic or hydrophobic surface, you have a non-polar. So there's no charge whatsoever. It's neutral. All right. And that's why, like, when you put water on a hydrophilic surface, you see this nice sheeting effect. And then you go to hydrophobic, you get like lines, like river lines, or you get a lot of spotting, water droplets, because it's not a polar surface. It's the water is not magnetically connecting to the surface. And that's the key for getting spot-free water. And that's why even with pure water, you know, when you're washing a surface, you have less spotting issues on hydrophilic surface than a hydrophobic surface.
Nice.
So in a sense, what the Tech 7 does is it creates positive and negative flow zones inside the pipe there, all right? Now, the positive pressure zones, the pressure, in a sense, is increasing, all right? And then in the negative pressure zones, your velocity of the water is accelerating, but then your pressure is going down. It's becoming negative, all right? Because you're accelerating. The water's accelerating. The neat thing that happens when you do that is you create, in the negative pressure zone, you create microscopic cavitation bubble, microcombustion, or whatever you want to call it. I like talking to people about it because it's exciting. You know, it's new stuff for understanding things. But anyways, in these negative pressure zones, you have this microcombustion take place. And what I can, you know, technically what happens is when that microscopic bubble hits a pressure zone again, it collapses. It actually implodes onto itself in such a force that it creates a shock wave that's so powerful that it can destroy metal or burst apart the molecules that are in the water. Break those magnetic bonds. Now, do you see that rainbow? I call it the rainbow effect. You know, because I've seen that in glass. The rainbow effect. Now, in glass, you know, that could be an indication for, in my test, that you could have spot-free. But my experience with the Tech 7 water evaporates way faster than it does regular water. And I don't know if you've noticed that at all or not.
I did. So what should I be expecting, and should I be expecting good results? And should I be trying to use the Tech 7 with Windows the same way that I used it with the solar panels?
Well, you can in certain areas. Depending on what's the water chemistry in your area, there's guys that can use only Tech 7 water and clean windows with great results. But then if you're living in an area that has something in the water, because the Tech 7 is not removing any of the minerals, you know, it's busting all that stuff up. You know, it's busting the water molecules away from the minerals because when you have dissolved minerals, you know, the water molecules are basically surrounding the mineral, right? And you're breaking that up a little bit. So you're breaking the water, the H2O, away from those, and you know, you might get an extra hydrogen here and there, and you know, that leads to what else the Tech 7 is doing. But we're not going to get into that. But where was I going with this? But in a sense, so you can have, like, I've cleaned windows at like 300 and some parts per million. All right. And like my perspective of spot free results is getting the water to carry off the minerals, right? So you can have a window where like the center of the window is like hydrophilic, all right? So it's sheeting the water really well. So it's carrying off the minerals, right? And then the surface of the water that is connected magnetically to the glass has a negative charge, and there's no minerals in that water. And that's why it dries spot free, because the minerals has shed it off.
Right.
But then around the edge of the window, you might have hydrophobic surface where it's a non-polar, and then the water starts clustering onto itself, and you might get a water drop here and there, and then those will leave spots. So it's not 100% for window cleaning. The reason it can work for solar panels is just because of the hydrophilic surface. And even with solar panels, you know, once you start getting into really high concentrated minerals in the water, you know, it's going to have its limitations too, because the water of the Tech 7 dries so fast. And if it can't shed the minerals fast enough, if it's drying too fast, you're still going to have a mineral deposit.
Right. Okay.
So that's like one test. You know, if your solar panels are at an angle or they're flat, you know, you might get a little bit of varying results from that too.
Which that's fun. I'm excited to test it, to keep on testing it for these next few months, to put it in these different types of elements and find out exactly how well it performs. Because it varies, and that is the interesting thing. I think once you do have this thing dialed in though, and you understand that, it's a powerful tool.
Yeah. I mean, I've been using them on my pure water machines. I mean, all pH 7 pure water machines, starting here in 2020, come with a Tech 7 built onto it, just because of the benefits that we've seen of using the Tech 7. We still, even running through the pure water machine and through all the tubing, we still get that faster drying effect. We have less spotting issues. I've done tests. I ran a whole year just testing how high can I wash windows at TDS after the RO. I don't even hardly use a DI anymore, because the Tech 7 pretty much replaces the DI. Granted, there's still some areas I need a DI because whatever's in the water is just, you know, I can't get it out. I'm not getting it out. So it has its limitations. But, you know, a lot of the guys using DIs, I've been hearing reports back from the guys using it that, you know, they're cleaning windows at 110 parts per million. They can't believe it. It's spot free. And then they're like, I just think I should change the DI because I don't know what else to do. You know, I don't understand why it's working so good. So
wow,
that's great.
See, you know, I was just about to message you to say, hey, he's making fun of the short. If you haven't seen the short on YouTube about the solar panel that can't clean itself, because solar panels can't clean themselves, I highly recommend that you go and see it. Mike's here. That's what.
Sorry about that.
Mike's here. I know everybody's happy. Tanner Hyde, who asked a question about the SolarTech, I'll answer that, but not just yet, because this show's about the Tech 7. So, Mike,
the best.
We're talking about the Tech 7, which is amazing. So it's a beautiful piece of technology, as Frank said. You just heard a little bit about the science behind it. We're going to talk a little bit more about that and about how we experience that when we're out on the job. Now, this is, you know, as you recognize, Mike, this is the old one, the first one we got. The very first one, in fact. All right. And these are a little bit beat up too, because we use them up on a rooftop, and I'll get to that as we replace them. Right, every day.
We actually use them for every appointment. Yeah.
Yes, use them today. In fact,
when you
order one of these, when you get one of these,
because I clean in the rain.
We did. When you get the Solar 7
that was a
filter
TLC
for solar panel cleaning, you'll get this as well. So that's basically, it comes along with it, and that's the newer one. So check this out. Let me see if I can get this on the. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, there's ridges like ruffles.
There we go. Okay, you can see there's some ridges in there. All right. So what's taking place is the water is breaking up through in the Tech 7, and it restructure it, just like Frank was saying. So when it hits those solar panels, those minerals are
Mineral
just
free.
sheeting off the solar panels, and it helps specifically with the panels. The windows, not so much, but it's the clusters, the water clusters. Big words there that I love. I love this word. There's such complicated words. When the water drops are sitting there, what happens with all those minerals, those total dissolved solids, because there's a lot that's in water. You got
TDS.
iron, you got the salt, you got so much different crap that's in water. So as it dries out, it leaves all these marks on the solar panels. That's what you're seeing. So as the water rushes through these, it reconstructs the water, and as it hits the solar panel, it does something special, and it just kind of just flows right off the solar panels. And we see, Mike, the drying when we're cleaning the solar panels, that's I think the best part, because we see it dries a little fast.
It dries from top to bottom every time.
Yeah, really nice and beautifully.
Much more quickly than just regular water or with DI.
Okay, here's a good question. Do you just use the Tech 7, no additional filters, DI tanks, or even the Solar 7? What's your average parts per million TDS in California? Great question.
Average, I would say 400 to 500. I mean, that's what we run across mostly.
Yeah,
but I guess 3 to 5 or so.
It can vary. I think that there's some houses that we come across that have like 3, but most of them are between like 350 to upwards close to 500.
Yeah, bad water. You can smell it.
Right. It's really,
you can smell the water.
Terrible.
It's probably not the best.
It isn't. We no longer use DI tanks, although I used DI tanks in the past. First, I had 2 full cubic sized tanks, which was just overkill to be carrying around.
But we do use the Solar 7 in conjunction with our Tech 7s. Yes. The Solar 7 works in conjunction with it. It comes with 2 of them already on it. So, yeah, we do use our Solar 7.
Okay, let's just get this over with.
We do.
Tanner, we do for our residential, and then for commercial, we have other brushes. I do have a SolarTech. I don't like to use it as much. I used it for 3.5 years straight.
I actually use the SolarTech pole.
Yeah, he uses the pole. I don't like to use it that much.
We have our own 24-inch brush that Chris puts together for us, and that's the brushes we use daily on 90% of the jobs.
And because we do a lot of residential, and the reason why is because that's really good to us. And
yeah, it's right. It's really right in the pocket for us. Really some people have a good market for commercial, as we were talking to the gentleman last week with the very nice trucks. I can't remember his name off the top of the head, but his niche, his pocket is commercial because it works for him. But his area, LA, has that.
But here's the thing: is you want to have the right equipment for the job. The reason why we only use these manual brushes for residential is because I see no reason to use a SolarTech. I have the C1000. I used it in the past when I first got it many years ago. It's a wide brush, and
it's a great toy.
I used it on a residential job. It's just overkill. Commercial, much more, because you got more room. There's more panels. To get up on a rooftop to do 24 panels with a SolarTech brush.
Well, you have to look at that too. On a rooftop, just because it says 24 panels doesn't mean they're all bunched together.
Right. And
they're
another
mostly
thing,
separated.
So it's more of a commercial brush. You know what?
In my personal opinion, yes.
Yeah, here's the thing: is it all depends on the job you're doing. There's a whole bunch of different things. If you're out in a solar field, a big solar farm, I would say get a tractor. If you're doing huge solar array systems projects on rooftops, possibly even some carport now, I would say get a robot. Or get a robot, or if it's a carport, get a rotating bristle brush. If you're doing residential, I would say
what these do, and you could do it.
Brush.
You could do the job with all of them. It's not that you can't do the job with the push.
No, it's not that.
But it will save you time, money, your shoulders.
Right.
The labor it would take is much different. So whatever works best for you is what I would go with.
Yeah, pretty much. And when you're going up and down ladders multiple times a day, not doing 1, 2, 3 appointments a week, but when you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 appointments a day,
Yeah, that's
you
what
don't you don't want to drag that
too.
up there, and so that's why the SolarTech is an amazing.
How heavy
brush.
is it again? It's like a 50-pound brush or so, right?
Yeah, at the end of it, it's ridiculous. One time we were cleaning these solar panels that were carport ones at a middle school in Long Beach, and it was I like to tell the story because it's important. It took off on me, and I was at the edge, and it dropped down, and it cost us when we got two setups. It was $13,000, Tanner.
Not a cheap brush, then, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a brush that you want to mess up or just throw out there to residential. When you're doing so many residential, in my opinion, and I'm going to say here, because here in California, we got the bulk of them, I think, is in the West Coast or towards our end of the United States. That's where, you want to use a manual brush, but 13,000. Yeah, I did back then. I spent $13,000. It was crazy. All right. So anyways, getting back to the Tech 7. So we use this at the end of our hose.
Sorry about that. Turn another light on.
Is we got the spigot for the home, for the residents, and we're gonna be talking about residential, I think, mainly, and then I'll tag on to where this can be placed with commercial setup, or how you would place it with your commercial setup. But you got the water from the home, this water spigot from the home, your residential home, goes into the Solar 7 or your water filtering system, whether that be a DI-RO or DI-RO combination. But it goes through that, and let's just say you have a pump. For the sake of the conversation, as a solar panel cleaner, you'll want the pump after your filter. But anyways, then you have your hose that goes from that all the way up to the roof that we have. Mike just might have died, but it goes all the way up onto the top of the roof, and up there is where we have the Tech 7s. It works the best when it is at the furthest from the water and closest to what you're cleaning, like see, there's my green sheet. Look, my room is falling apart. I can't even really grab my guitars. I need to get a better background for my green sheet. We'll work on that. Rest in peace. So maybe he'll come back. We'll see. So the Tech 7, the way we hook it up is right at the end. We get the hose. Just imagine it's going through the spigot to the water filtering system to possibly your pump, and then through a hose all the way up on top of the roof. Would you real quick here before we go further, since we're talking about this, would you recommend DI and RO combination? I'm just running a DI system. No, I wouldn't. I don't recommend. It doesn't really matter. I mean, the basic sense of it is what it comes down to. It is 0 to 40 TDS. That's what you need to be cleaning with. So if you're cleaning with a RO, a DI, or RO DI combo, that's basically what you're going for. So if you got that, you're good to clean. Some situations you can even get up to 100 TDS. But
about that, sir, almost died out.
All good. This goes from the hose connects here, and then we connect. We actually use 2 of them. It's kind of badass looking too. And I'm gonna show you a little other trick that we have. We actually,
I can't hear anything.
When we're hooking this up, is we use this little 4-way splitter.
Oh, he brought the whole kit up.
I did. I wanted to show it.
It's nice.
So you could see we've got, this is the splitter right here, and I'll get to these right here. Then there's the first Tech 7, second Tech 7, and then at the top, we put this bad boy. Not the brushes. Oops. You're going to say to me, well, why not the brushes? And I'm going to tell you why. So what's going on is this is a last step type of thing. It's very much like when you go to wash your car at the car wash, and they got that dry, spot-free dry rinse. And usually if you're doing it yourself, you'll notice that it's just that light spray, because that's the DI water. That's the nice clean water. So when we're up there, we do hose it off with this, and we do the pre-rinse with this so it gets it. And then when we're cleaning, we hook up our poles to these right here. These are just quick connects, nothing more than that. But we connect our hoses for our tubing for our water-fed poles right here in the ends. So then we clean with these bad boys, and the water we're getting is basically the water from our water system, which, you know, you could have a backup sediment filters for your system and whatever, and DI, RO combination, or the Solar 7 like we were talking. But either way, that's what we're cleaning with. And then at the end, we use this one last time to go ahead and get it that final rinse. And that's where the magic is really does its thing. And it helps it to make those solar panels hydrophilic. And it just those water clusters, they just nicely, they evaporate so beautifully, and it doesn't leave that mark. There's a couple other people that have used it, I think, and it's amazing. One customer wants to know how much, and that's a great question. I believe, Mike, and I'm not sure on this,
for the Solar 7.
For the Tech 7.
Solar 7 or for the Tech 7?
The Tech 7. We're going to leave the Solar 7 out of this one for now, because I feel like this is going to be something. I'm actually going to be talking about the PH7 a lot for maybe the next 4, 5, 6, 7 different podcasts. You'll hear it here and there, and then we'll have a couple podcasts specifically about their products, because I think they're amazing. I don't know. I don't even know what I was looking for. What was I about to ask, or what was I about to say? Jeez, I got lost trying to putting up a comment and whatnot. What?
It's just pissing me off.
You can't even hear. Okay, so can you link the site for the parts? Here's the thing about it, is they don't have a website per se right now. Mike, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Somewhat? Okay, all right.
Yeah, my headphones weren't working.
Don't trip. We're already 37 minutes into it, so it's all good. They don't necessarily have a website. I did earlier in the comments, I linked their let's see if I could do it again. I'll probably have to get back to it. They do have a Facebook page where you can contact Frank Bialek or Caleb Thompson and talk to them about getting a Tech 7, a Solar 7. These guys are amazing. I cannot tell you how smart they are. Specifically, Frank Bialek. And they come from like I said, they come from generations of window cleaning for, I want to say, the grandpa, the dad, the uncle, the whole family cleans windows. And I like that. I like when equipment and tools come from cleaners, true cleaners that are out there, and they, you know, are working day to day from whether it be residential or commercial, and they're falling into all the different issues and trying to find out what's going to work the best. Welcome back.
Yeah, that's better.
There you go. So, you know, I like working with these types of cleaners, or these types of companies that are backed by cleaners and stuff. And not only that, like I said, the guy is a genius. He's a beekeeper. He has bees. He has beehives, which is pretty impressive, if you ask me.
Super impressive.
Tanner, real quickly, I'm going to say this. Don't watch SoCal Solar Panel Cleaners. I mean, SoCal Solar Panel. That's what they are. I'm just going to say, before they started their business, I started a company called SoCal Solar Panel Cleaners. It was my actual first business. It's just coincidental that they had a business afterwards, but I'm not trying to call anybody out, although I've called them out many times before. But
that's what you do.
That's what I do. Mike, it has been a great week. Today was an awesome one. We had 3 appointments where we did actually, we used the Tech 7 today.
On each one of them.
I lost it. It's down here.
You want to know something about that, Chris? While
that?
we were cleaning in the rain with the Tech 7s, you could literally see the water beating off.
You can. And that's a really cool thing too.
It is. It's a cool effect while you're up there seeing it.
It does. It makes this little cool effect where the water just beads up and just dribbles off it in a nice, beautiful way.
It's like a ceramic coating on a car, just
right. Line. Okay. Okay, but DI, you need all that equipment like they have. Need. that's an interesting word. Do you need? You don't need to have the Tech 7. It is an addition. Okay. We don't use DI or
At all, yeah.
RO. Yeah, there's no DI because
We have no
use
DI
this.
tank. It's not that we don't have the tanks. We just don't carry. You don't even carry them with us.
It's a different type of tank is what that we use because it's a Solar 7, so it doesn't necessarily have DI in it. So
Yeah.
to answer your question, and
Ours
we
has that
will get
special.
to in another episode the magic behind the Solar 7 because, sir,
We've also made videos on that.
Plenty, yeah. There is absolutely no
Check out the YouTube
DI resin that we use whatsoever. So that's kind of interesting. Is this way cheaper? I'd say so because you don't have to pay for DI resin. And that's the thing right there. We have not had to change the filter the entire time that we've had it. And I don't know how many amount of jobs we've done, commercial and residential, just ridiculous amounts. Now, commercial, that's residential. Would you use it differently for commercial? Same way. Basically, if we're doing it's going to be placed in there. It's going to be at the ending place of the hose.
Yeah, we place it right after the spigot. Basically, we have a small hose that's attached to the Tech. There's a Tech 7 that leads into it, and there's a Tech 7. There's one at the beginning of the Solar 7 that leads into the Magic.
Yes.
And then there's also one coming out that leads to our hose, and then we also run one at the end personally.
Yeah. So I mean that's basically
that's how much faith we have. You know what I mean? That's where we're at with the 7 game.
So if you're interested in getting the Tech 7, I highly recommend you doing that. Contact Frank Bialek of PH7. Again, I have dropped a comment his their Facebook page. They don't have a website working exactly yet. Don't hold it against them. They only make so many per year as well. Which is very, very interesting. But when I say this is a piece of equipment, a tool that you need to have in your arsenal, that's no understatement.
It'll change the cleaning immediately. You'll notice first cleaning.
Yeah. You'll never use anything else ever again. You'll always have it. Actually, let me say this, because I don't think there's anything to use in place of it. It's of its own caliber. You will always use this. Once you get it, you will start to use it with every cleaning that you do. When it comes to solar panel cleaning, whether that be with a robot, rotating bristle brush, manual brush, I don't think it really matters because it's about
by the time the water's coming out, it's already
right.
Unicorns and fucking magic.
Unicorns and magic. Someone said that today. Where did I see that?
That was on your face
all the time. Something special.
Got that king going on.
Is that what's going on? The king roll?
It is.
Yeah, that's special stuff right there. Well, we're getting down here to the end. So real quickly, guys, let's do a few things. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up in the future that I think you're going to be happy about. Some really cool guests are going to be joining us on the show here starting in January. I think you're going to really, really love. Plus, we have a lot more educational podcasts that we're going to be doing to show you guys a little bit more of some residential commercial solar panel cleaning that you guys, tips and advice that you guys can use and take back for any kind of cleaning, whether that be any kind of install type, whether that be ground mount, carport, rooftop, on water, any of that
personal
kind of stuff.
Favorite on the ground mount.
It's and
I'm a fan.
There's a whole lot of levels. The other thing that we're going to be talking about here at the beginning of the year is making that leap from residential to commercial. I think that there is a lot of individuals that want to start a solar panel cleaning company, and they do. And there's a lot of hurdles to get over.
Well, you want to know? I think people see videos and, like you said, they want to start it because they drive by. I mean, there's schools everywhere.
Right.
There's always a school somewhere. Elementary, middle, and high school. There's got to be in your area, if not 2 of each. And a lot of schools have solar panels, and they see those and they think, "Oh, that's easy money." It's not.
It's not. And
but it can be.
It can be, but and see, you touched on a very important thing. There's a couple different factors here. There's some variables, Mike, because you there's getting the job. there's
but there's doing the job too.
right
That's
there. Oh, right. I was about to
factor.
say there's estimating, throwing a bid out of what you think it's going to be and how long it's going to take, and then doing the job.
Yeah,
And
then
what
realizing,
comes out.
oh shit.
I was talking to Kim Verduck today. He was actually right before the podcast, and he was telling me about how he's doing a job right now that's giving him some issues, and he had a problem with his equipment that I think busted on him just a small piece, which can happen
on the robot.
Yeah, so I mean,
wow.
it can happen. How often do we break something?
All the time.
We're rough.
We have to make it happen for that job and then go fix it
Constantly
after.
working on stuff. So he had stuff going on, and then he had a problem with a rental. Well,
I hate that part.
think about that one project. Yeah, there's so many times I lost so much money because of a rental company. They kept on screwing us, and every time we got the lifts, they would die, and they wouldn't put propane tanks, so they wouldn't deliver the.
And the thing about the propane
lifts
tank,
with
it wouldn't even
propane
matter.
tanks, so it wouldn't, because it wasn't connecting. I'm trying to give it every single time.
I know. It wouldn't
even
even have mattered. I mean, even if we got it connected, it wasn't enough to do the job. Not even to dent it.
No. So
and we would have went so hard playing catch up, because that's what we were essentially having to do, play catch up when we were killing ourselves.
The last day was in, what was that?
Brutal.
Corona or something like that.
Yeah, Ronnie, it was brutal.
HD Washman came up with me and worked with me, and we did one array, and then we actually went back to a place that me and Mike had worked on, but couldn't finish because of a problem with the lift. So I had to go back up there and clean, and HD Washman drove down and met me and worked with me. We got one array done, and as we were driving around to get the other one, the lift died. And that was it.
That was the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah, that was the end of the day. We sat around for hours. I felt so bad, man. I was like, hey, well, thanks for coming and kick it with me. I'm
my dog.
Hell of a guy. My dog. My man. You know,
right.
It's so cool to kick with Chris Virgin. Yeah.
Any quick recommendations when using water-fed poles? The results from my SolarTech look way different from water-fed. Yeah, there you go. Can you bring that up? Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Results from my SolarTech look way different from water-fed pole, even after rinsing. Super stoked for the next meetup. Well, this is true, because let's look at this. All right. The SolarTech is the rotating bristle brush, depending on which one you got. And from the C100 to the C1000, you're going to be rocking it. And if you don't have the water guard, by the way, which can fly off, bro, it's water everywhere, Mike. I used to hate this thing.
You're gonna get soaked.
Right. Sometimes when we clean, like I did at I almost said the name, at the rooftop one next to the 78, the adult store. Okay, well, that one right there, maybe I shouldn't have even said that too. Doesn't matter. But when we clean up there, our feet kind of get wet sometimes. Oh, hold up. What up, Ryan? All right, let me put that back down. He's always commenting on the YouTube and liking the YouTube videos, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, I know. Well, you gotta say thank you to people. So when the thing about the SolarTech is, if you don't have, he just left. He doesn't like me. When you have the splash guard and it knocks off, the water just falls over the place, and you can be soaked with that thing. So that's why I'm not a huge fan of using the SolarTech all that often. Plus, on one job specifically, we actually kind of broke the splash guard. It made it really, really hard for us. That would be the difference, because with the manual brush, you're not getting as much agitations. I think that when people are cleaning with a manual brush, it's a different type of cleaning. With a SolarTech, you're changing it depending on, you're flipping it around. For those who don't know, you're flipping the brush around for the different direction. Like say with a carport, you'll notice that they're at an angle. So depending on how you're cleaning from the top or the bottom, you'll flip that brush around, because it'll be flowing. It's going to be either pushing or it's going to be pulling from you. And that's how the SolarTech works. So it's grabbing and it's taking all that. It's a beautiful brush. And just like a robot that has that same type of setup, a rotating bristle brush, it's grabbing all those elements, the soft and the hard elements, and pulling them off the solar panels and throwing them off. So that's why it does look a little bit better. Is it better? I guess it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Like I said, I wouldn't use it for residential if I was only doing 24 panels. Wouldn't it be a reason? Would I get a better clean? Well, if I had a manual brush and I'm up there, I'm going to bet 100, 200, 300, $400, whatever in my pocket that I can clean that residential better with a manual brush than a SolarTech. However, though, if I'm cleaning 500 solar panels, there's a possibility that SolarTech's going to do a lot better because your arms are going to only be able to do so much. And then again, a robot's going to, SolarTech's going to only going to be able to do so much because a robot's going to be able to do this, and on and on and on. But I do like to use the brush, and I think when using the manual brush, it's important to clean, for the sake of the conversation, the top part of the solar panel is where you would start. And I actually am about to be putting out a video on YouTube about this, so I'll drop this in the group and on YouTube here soon. But the basics of it is coming like this: from the Tech 7 to the basics of solar panel cleaning, residential solar panel cleaning. But we brush off the top of the frame, and what we're doing is we're clearing all the dirt and everything that kind of gangs up at the top. And then we clean the sides. And you're doing two things when you're cleaning the sides. You're cleaning not only the sides of the panel that you're cleaning, but also the ones next to it and the glass on it and all that. So it's very important to get that. And then the bottom area. And I think that when we're doing the bottom area, a lot of people just go with agitations like this. Well, I don't do that. I also go back and forth with my brush. I'm going like this with it. And in fact, if you're four panels away from you and you have your pole extended, if you have the pole end right here and you're going like this and just shaking it, the end of your brush is just going to shake like this along the edge and just nicely clean up that edge. It's a beautiful thing that you can do with your manual brush, and it kind of simulates a cleaning, kind of like a rotating bristle brush. Now, once you've done that, the top, the sides, and the bottoms, then you just go mad with the inside. And I look at it like this: there's agitations. How many agitations does it take to clean? Well, if you push down, up, down, up. Do I do that 3 times? Yeah. Down, up, down, up, down, up. That's 6 agitations right there. I'll do that, and then I'll move over a cell. I look at it that way: a half, an inch, a cell, whatever, just a little bit at a time, and do the same thing. Then move over, same thing, and keep going until I'm all the way across the solar panel. By that time, you've hit every single possible area of the solar panel. And I believe that is the best way to clean with a manual brush. With a rotating bristle brush, it's kind of similar depending. I'm sorry, it's not similar. If you're cleaning from let's say the SolarTech, if you're cleaning from the bottom going up or the top going down, you're going to be cleaning it a little bit different, and the cleaning the edges aren't as easy as shaking the pole because it's moving and it can just grip and fall right off of the solar panel array. So it's a little bit different when you have a manual brush and you're down, let's say in a carport, and you're down, or a ground mount, 3, 4, 5 panels away from you, and you're cleaning that top row. I don't clean like this where the brush just goes back and forth. I go at an angle. So the brush is, let's just say this is the top of the panel. The brush comes up at an angle like this and it goes down. So it's kind of cleaning like this and getting the every area of the panel and just kind of cleaning it nice along that top area. Same thing with the rotating bristle brush to a fault. I like to angle it a little bit so that it goes off a little bit of the top final module, so I can easily kind of go like this. And I'm not going to get crazy into it, but basically, and I'll do another video on this, and I think there is a video on this on my YouTube channel, but I like to clean with the flow of the solar panel. If I'm on cleaning a ground mount's like this, and the ground that I'm cleaning on is at an angle, the water's not going to flow straight down the panels. It's going to flow at an angle. Whatever that angle is, that's where I'm going to want to put my brush, whether it's a rotating bristle brush or a manual brush, going back and forth, because I'm going to have the least resistance and the least amount of strength that I'm going to have to use with my arms. So I'm very, let's see here. I'm very curious to see your whole setup. You know what? You'd be very surprised. I'll take some pictures and post them on my YouTube, YouTube / solar panel clean friends. Please go over there and subscribe, watch the videos, like, comment, and all that kind of good stuff. I will post up on my YouTube channel my whole setup, my truck and my van, and a few other different things, so you guys can get an idea of what I clean with. You'll actually be very, very surprised. I try to keep it as minimal as possible. All right, let's see here. Yes, you can actually, because you can flip it around. And that is one thing about the SolarTech is you can flip it around so that whether you're cleaning from the bottom of the solar panels, excuse me, depending on what angle you're cleaning. Like I said, if you're cleaning at the top, for example, of a carport or the bottom area, you'll want to flip the brush around so that it either goes like this and pulls up, or goes like this and goes the other way. So I mean, it's a variation. And I think they might have changed. No, they didn't change it. I'm not even going to do that. I know there has been some changes since the many years back when I got mine, which was 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. But not many. I will say this about the rotating bristle brushes that I find kind of interesting, that I've been looking into, that are out there. There are a lot of rotating bristle brushes that are on the market, and I will name a few. Let's go ahead and just talk about a couple of them while we're at it. There is the one from Jay Racenstein. I believe that is the clean brush, I believe, which comes from Vlad. He's a Russian guy. It's kind of cool. It's got a different kind of setup, and I believe it runs off sort of like a battery pack as well, in addition to his little water setup. Vlad is not the nicest individual. He's a jerk, to be truthful with you. I'm not even going to be nice about it. I've messaged him, tried to get him to talk about his stuff and whatnot, but every single time he's in the group, he's very rude to other cleaners. Always talking down on cleaners that don't necessarily know what he knows. So I don't know too much about the brush, and I can't get too much information from him because he thinks that the cleaners are, well, the cleaners in the group and myself are low cleaner. I couldn't understand what he's saying, but basically we're not good enough. So I think that Jay Racenstein has that, and I think it's around $2,500 to $3,000, and I believe that it probably works all right. I wouldn't know too much about it because getting information from him is very ridiculous, but whatever. There is the SolarTech, which I recommend or suggest number one out of the rotating bristle brushes. I used it for many years and I love it. It's German engineering. It is the top, period. You're not going to get any better than that when it comes to those. There are some robots right now in the industry that I think are at the top that I'm going to be looking into, and one of them more than the other. First off, I want to talk about the one that's being used the most in the group, and that's the Solar Cleano. And Kim Verduck and Steve Williams, and I believe more people over in the UK use that. Now, all these robots and all these rotating bristle brushes, they all come from Germany over there. They're not from here in America, so they have easier access to them. And they're probably a lot cheaper than they are for us out here. So don't beat yourself over things. Don't do that. Now, and don't think that you are any less of a cleaner because you have one, or do not, or excuse me, not because you have one, because you do not have one. There is no level of this solar panel cleaning based on the type of equipment. Like I always say, you can't give somebody a Gibson Les Paul guitar and expect them to be a professional guitarist. It just doesn't happen like that, and vice versa. Just because you hand somebody, or somebody has a Gibson Les Paul, doesn't mean that they're going to be the best with it. Or now that doesn't work out. Forget that. The first part only. The point being is just because you guys go out and spend a lot of money and buy a big product does not mean that you're going to be able to utilize it to its best, fullest capabilities. I believe that Kim and Steve are maximizing their equipment to its fullest potential beyond reason. And if anybody wants to know about how I feel about Steve Williams, he's a great guy. There's nothing to get twisted in the group or anything like that. I like Steve a lot. I give people a hard time. So not everybody. In fact, he made a mention about see why people don't post in the group, and that's not true. If you know anything and you're actually in the group, you know that he's really the only person I've given a hard time. I do that because he is elite. He is a top, part of the top of the industry. That's why I made him an expert in the group, because he does know what he's talking about, and he's doing a good job out there. So do I agree with everything he says? Not 100%. And I think his hair is ugly, but I still love the guy. Kim is a great guy too. And both of them are killing it with these robots. So the robots, they are very, very intense, and they're for the solar farms. We're talking about, I haven't seen them too much on, say, like the carports. The rooftops, I've seen a lot of that, but I haven't seen anybody use them on a carport. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen any photos of it. I believe that there would be some point where there's going to be a little bit of some angling. It's going to be a little bit too complicated. Now, Solar Cleano, and there's also another one called High Cleaner. Carla Dawson, who's now in one of our newest members in the group, who's the co-founder of Realism, is going to be talking about this big time in the group. Not only that, she's going to be doing a demo right here in San Diego that I'm going to be going live in the group, streaming and showing 100% about this robot. I believe that more information about these rotating bristle brushes and these robots needs to get out to every cleaner out there of every experienced level. Because here's the thing is there is an idea that you need to jump into commercial in order to make it big, or that you need to have a specific piece of equipment in order to be the big professional solar panel cleaner, when that in reality is not the case. It's good to have the knowledge of the equipment and the tools that are out there, but you should also have, what's important is not the science just of what you're using to clean, but the science behind what you are cleaning. Especially with us being solar panel cleaners, you need to know about solar panels, soiling metrics, soiling loss, PV soiling loss, which is something I'm going to be talking about a lot lately, that I'm going to be talking about a lot in the future. It's very, very important. These are things that you need to share with your customer. Shading. It's very important just beyond the equipment to have a knowledge of it and to be an expert about the equipment that are out there. It's more important to be able to diagnose what's taking place with solar panels and with your customer. It is very important to be able to say, hey, you have some hot spotting or some scaling, or you have some shading, you have trees, you have this and that and the other that is causing you to lose production in your solar system. That is where we're going to be going with things. It is very, very good to have these types of equipment and know exactly what they're used for and how to properly use them. But when you're using them, we also want to give you the tools to be able to diagnose the project, the appointment, just from the lowest to the biggest appointment. We want you to be able to diagnose what's going on and say, this is why you're losing production, because it may not just be just because there's dirty solar panels. You might heard of recently where I did a job where there was 2 arrays, one array, and I believe there were about 50 something panels each. One array was pulling about 4,000 watts. The other one was pulling about 2,000 watts. The reason why is because there were some trees that had grown and they were making those panels, they were covering those panels. So even though I cleaned the solar panels, when we left, he could have saw those because he never walked out there. This was a ground mount, and the guy never even walked out onto his big property. So he could have read the, monitored the solar panels back from his phone and seen that, oh, this one's still not getting enough power production and whatnot. And a couple things could have happened. He could have said, okay, I need to go ahead and take a look at it, or might not think about it, which is a good possibility. Or he'll think, I need to call my installation company, which is a possibility, but not likely. But more than likely, they're going to go ahead and think I paid for solar panel cleaning, and it didn't raise my production on this. I'm not calling that guy again. So it's good to go ahead, like this guy particularly, to say specifically and to tell him, hey, you got trees that are blocking your solar panels. That right there got me so much. It's not just, hey, it might cost me a customer. it's going to gain me a life customer. But not only that, he now wants other services with me. And it's just he's going to grow as a customer. And the return of investment for me is going to be greater, keeping him as a customer and making sure that he gets the full education and everything about his solar panels. Guys, that's an hour. That's an hour of Solar Panel Cleaning Friends podcast. Thank you so much for joining me and he helped me out. Mike was here and there and he skipped out. He had earphone situations, so I think he had to pop off for that. We got to listen to the interview with Frank Bialek, a PH. Let's try that again. Going live. This is always great. Take two. We got to listen to the interview that I did with Frank Bialek, a PH7, about year and a half ago, talk about the Tech 7, and it was a really good one. If you're just tuning in, we're going to be ending the show. Go back and watch the interview. It's amazing. We talked about the Tech 7, the magic behind the Tech 7, and everything that it does. This is a powerful piece of equipment that I implore each one of you as solar panel cleaners, window cleaners, soft wash, power wash cleaners to purchase it. Contact PH7. Unfortunately, they don't have a website, so you have to seek it out. You have to contact Frank. I'm going to drop their Facebook page. I implore you with everything on everything to go check them out. Go talk to Frank and get yourself a Tech 7. They're not even that expensive. I think they're like 125, 100, something like that. It is amazing. Get your hands on one of them. Guys, if you haven't gone over to the youtube.com/Solar Panel Cleaning Friends channel, go over there and subscribe to the Solar Panel Cleaning Friends YouTube channel. We need all the support and love that we can. Like the videos and drop your comments. If you have any kind of questions, go ahead and email us at solarpanelcleaningfriends@gmail.com. If you haven't, guys, over in YouTube, go over to Facebook and check out facebook.com/groups/Solar Panel Cleaning Friends and check out the #1 group dedicated to professional solar panel cleaners of all experience levels, whether it be residential or commercial. There's all these guys there that have all this information. They're just genius. Oh no, my house is going down. It's falling down. That green screen. I'm going to work on that. Next week, we'll have a better green screen. Next week, we're going to be hopefully have everybody back on the show. I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about yet. We're coming down to the end of 2021. In 2022, we're starting off with a whole bunch of beautiful things here. We do have actually the masterclass coming up, our yearly masterclass, where we go ahead and talk about everything related to solar panel cleaning. We give out tutorial times 50,000. So be looking for that. I'm not sure exactly what date we're going to be doing that. That might be December or January. I don't know. It's going to be one of these types of things, but it's not going to be just me. I'm going to have some people join me to talk about some safety, to talk about the equipment. We're going to have somebody for the robots, someone for the bristle brushes, the rotating bristle brushes, different individuals to go ahead and make this year's mastermind class better than the one before. So guys, thank you so much. The stickers are on their way. We'll see you next week at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on YouTube /Solar Panel Cleaning Friends or Facebook.com /groups/Solar Panel Cleaning Friends at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I myself, Chris Virgin, founder of Solar Panel Cleaning Friends, and hopefully joining me will be Mike Espinoza, David Colby, and Louis Alfaro, and whoever the hell decides to join us, which I'm hoping your guys going to be there, because if it's the only one me talking, I'm probably going to just lose myself. You guys have a great